Dudes to Dads, brought to you by Dad University, is a podcast to help men understand and navigate the transition of being a single dude into a family man. How do we make sense of it all? Well, we probably won't be able to, but let's go ahead and have some fun trying. And we are back.
We are back.
I'm Jason Kreidman.
I am Alan Bush.
And this is Dudes to Dads, episode 177.
Yeah.
Hello, Alan.
Hello. How are you doing? Hello.
We're doing good. This topic came about. I've seen so many questions online about this, actually in some of the Facebook groups and things like that. I was perusing.
Okay.
And the topic is how to get closer and bond with your baby.
Oh, okay.
So it brought me back too, is I know that there's a lot of men that don't feel very close to the baby when it's first born.
Yeah. And we've done episodes where we talked about that whole period of time when the baby's born because the baby's very reliant on the mom. It just came out of her.
Yeah.
And in
well, hey,
those
the
cases,
mom's been carrying it for 9 months.
Yeah, in
so
most cases. Yeah.
They have a little bit of an advantage.
Great.
They get to feel it kick and, turn inside of them. And so the relationship begins, much earlier. So
right.
that's as we say in the business world, that's a big competitive advantage.
Way to bring it back to business.
Yeah. On this business podcast for dads. That's a whole other topic. I know with my first child, I didn't feel that bond right away. I certainly loved my child immediately or before he even came out, but I didn't feel that deep emotional connection that I saw or I felt like I witnessed that my wife had.
Right.
I was like, oh, this is cool. And it was like, okay, now what do I do? I didn't, that was part of it. I had no idea what to do.
Sure, yeah.
And so I was just, I would say even there's a little bit of fear, because you don't want to do things wrong or such. So I didn't feel that, that really strong bond. And I'm, I found out that it's a very common thing for men to feel that way. And so on this episode, I was thinking that maybe we could provide some tips. These were some things that I did and I used. And then also, just to bond with the baby a little bit more, and become a little bit closer. And so I did use these. I did these things, and a lot of them were either recommendations from my wife or I read something. And so I've got 9 of them here. And as you can probably imagine, almost all of them have to do in the overarching subject of just spending more time with the baby.
Okay. So just sum it up to one.
That you can sum it up, spend more time. It's a common thing. If you're feeling like you're not bonding with the baby right away, it's common.
Yeah.
And that's part of that. It will come as you spend time with the child.
Right.
So, and that differs too. If you're the primary caregiver, the secondary care, it kind of varies. So I'm just going to go down the list and we'll discuss them and see what you think. So the first one is skin to skin contact. So what this means is actually just take off your shirt and lay the baby down on your chest. It's a very simple thing.
Yeah.
But there is something about that. The skin, feeling the skin from the baby, you feeling it, the baby feeling it. Just don't do it right after they eat.
Unless you want to be messy.
And I can't say that I didn't do that. It can be a little messy. So,
sure.
But yeah, so that's something you can do is just having skin to skin contact. The second one, feeding the child. So, obviously many women breastfeed. And so the men don't think that they can feed the child, but she can pump. She can pump the breast milk and then save it into a bottle, and then you can do that.
Right.
If she's not breastfeeding, or sometimes people supplement, and then which means in addition to breastfeeding, you're also like doing extra bottles, because that can be either one, she's not producing enough for the baby, or other reasons. But just taking those opportunities to actually feed the child, and don't leave it up to her. And the third one, bathing the child. This is something I just remember. my kids loving bath time. And I think most babies, they're not like cats. They love the water. And especially if you make it an enjoyable thing. You're using a high voice, you're making it exciting, you're splashing, you're doing all this stuff. My mom really was the one who showed me how to do that with my kids.
Oh, yeah.
And I was like, who wouldn't love this bath time? Like she was singing and splashing and I'm like, oh, that's how you do it. Because like if I did it, I would just put them in a little thing and just would have washed them and not thought about it. And of course that's why they wouldn't have wanted to take a bath.
This is boring, Dad.
I know. And so just toys and playing with the water and stuff. They just love it and they do it right from the beginning. And my kids still, they still enjoy it.
Yeah.
Well, they take showers now. But number 4, reading to your child. So whether it's random time or you're making it part of the bedtime routine, which I would suggest, and you can go to one of our previous episodes on bedtime routines, that hearing your voice is very important. And so they're not even going to know what's going on. They're going to be clueless. They're babies. They're not going to know what you're saying. Who cares? Do it anyways.
Right.
And there's books that are age appropriate in that they allow a child or a baby to bite it, squeeze it, pull them. They're made differently. They're not. It's not a paper book,
right?
And so it's not going to rip or whatever. But I do remember that as you started to introduce paper books. And the child's, we had so many books ripped. My son, because my son loved to read. Yeah. Loved us reading to him, would just be enthralled with books. Yeah. And there's so many books where he would just grab the page and rip it out. And so we're like, okay, we're not going to use that one. Or you'd have to keep it away from them. But you want them to interact with the book. So that's why there's many books that you like plastic.
Well, those cardboard ones. Yeah, those big kind of thick
But even
ones.
that, he ripped those.
Oh, wow.
Right. So you have to you got plastic baby. Ones. Yeah. Well, he took after his mom. He's very strong. And so that's something you can do. Is reading is awesome. It's just it's a great way of bonding with your child and cuddling with you while you're reading to them and holding them. So another one, number 5, change diapers. So not everybody loves to do it. It's not the most wonderful thing in the world, but you can try to think of it as a good experience by the fact that you are getting to bond with the baby. Right. And, part of that I think is the fact that the baby sees and feels that you're nurturing them and that you're cleaning them. Like they don't, they cry because their diaper's wet and then you're changing it. And so you're fixing that situation. I think over time that's valuable. And, but it was funny. And I did tell this story before, but there was a guy that came up to me. He has 4 grown kids and he said he was so proud that he never changed a single diaper.
Oh yeah. We talked about that.
And I said, well, I personally, I don't know that I said this to him or not, but I personally would not have been proud that I didn't change a diaper. That was something that I was, I did use that as an opportunity to be close to the baby and help, So yeah, it's just don't shy away from that stuff.
Right.
Number 6, baby massage. Who doesn't like a good massage? Yeah. And certainly a baby loves touch. It's really good for the baby. And their skin's so soft. It's just it feels so good.
It's like rubbing a cloud.
Yeah. And I can tell you, my children, even to this day, love getting any type of massage they can get. Whether it's on their head, their face, their feet. If either my wife or myself are offering, they will indulge and love it. So my wife's pretty good about that one. So then we have number 7, make silly faces and noises. Right. I think we talked about this on a previous thing where we said men are much better than women. At this. Yeah. So men are typically good at voices and doing silly things. And quite frankly, there is just nothing better than making a baby laugh. Yeah. There are billions of YouTube views dedicated to babies laughing. Right. A lot of successful channels, or I should say successful videos. I don't know how successful the channels are. Is there just baby laughing channels? I'm sure there are.
There probably is. Probably some podcasts just dedicated to that.
It is infectious. It is just so. And my son, oh boy, he had the most incredible, he still does, but had the most incredible laugh. That's what I remember. And so it was just really enjoyable to make him laugh, and to do that. I really enjoyed it. Number 8, pick up the baby when it cries. Yeah. So I have seen this too often where the father will say, oh, well, he just prefers mom.
Oh, so just
And they'll
default.
go and get mom. Yes. And so they default. They allow mom to soothe the
Does
child.
he think he can't console the baby the same way?
Sometimes.
Or maybe the baby.
Smell. It is. I mean, sometimes. No, I mean, like they know the mom.
Oh, they know.
Yeah, because they may not be able to see right away or whatever. So it's smell. It's probably the touch. I mean, there's a lot of stuff. But I'm going to say that, as the dad, continue to do it. Continue to be there, consoling the child if they're crying, changing their diaper. Be there and do those things, and you will bond with the baby. You just got to have a little patience.
Right.
And then the ninth thing is spend some alone time with the baby without your wife or significant other. So if your wife is the primary caregiver and she's the one who spends most of the time with the baby, tell her to go somewhere. Go give her a treat. Go have her spend some time elsewhere. And so that you get time alone with the child where she's not there.
Right.
Granted, even being in the other room is better than nothing. But what happens is the child then doesn't even get to see that the other parent is there. And that gives you the opportunity to bond as well. So you don't want any like mom in the distance hovering or the baby can hear the voice or anything, because if they do have a preference, they're going to want that.
Yeah.
So just spend some alone time with it and be patient, as I said. These are all things that are going to help you feel closer. There's probably 500 other things as well. Anything that has to do with spending time and doing.
Yeah, it seems like you said, it's the overarching theme of the whole thing is to make you spend time with your baby and preferably some alone time.
Yes.
Right.
That's a good way of summing it up.
There we go. In a nutshell.
If anyone else has any feedback, Alan, what should they do?
Should write to us, podcast@dudestodads.com. Or maybe you can hit us up on Twitter @dudestodads, or maybe even Facebook, dudestodads.com, or maybe even YouTube. You could go there and look at Dad University. A lot of great videos up there. Leave some comments, preferably nice ones, and then and subscribe to that channel. And then please, if you do nothing else, go to iTunes and or Stitcher and anywhere we're found in these days, and leave some reviews, maybe a 5-star, 6-star, 7-star review, and some comments, and subscribe to those channels. It will really help perpetuate the show.
Awesome. As always, Alan, thank you so much.
Thank you.
And we will see you next time.
See you next time.